The money I'm giving you is for your brother's wedding? Then why don't I just marry his girlfriend myself and cut out the middleman? My fiancée and I were supposed to be planning our wedding, but the family gift her parents wanted had somehow ballooned from an already steep $20,000 to an insane $40,000. I'd reluctantly agreed to that because I could just about swing it. But now, right before we were supposed to get our marriage license, they were demanding $70,000. The reason Chloe gave me? Her brother, Cody, was also getting married, and this money was for him. So, in front of her entire family, I dropped that bombshell, turned around, and walked out. Will, your uncle and I have talked it over, and this is the final number, really, $70,888. Chloe's mother, Sharon, said to me with a chipper smile from her seat on the sofa. I glanced at Chloe, but she just stared at the floor, silent. Her father, looking like his usual gentle self, just quietly peeled an apple and offered me a slice. I was burning up inside, and not just because of the ridiculous price tag. It was the fact that this family seemed to pull a new number out of a hat every other day. There was no consistency, no honor. Initially, Chloe had told me her parents were thinking of a gift around $20,000. I didn't think much of it. They had raised her, after all. It wasn't easy. Crucially, that amount was within my means. I had enough in my savings. I figured a wedding wasn't a business deal. There was no need to haggle and make things ugly, so I agreed. A few days later, Chloe told me we needed to renegotiate. She said she'd been thinking, and her parents were getting older and didn't have much of a retirement plan. Plus, they'd spent so much raising her. So she asked, could we make the gift $40,000? I wasn't happy. That was more than double. Seeing my silence, Chloe immediately pressed, don't you think I'm worth $40,000 to you? Hearing that, even though I was completely against it, I didn't give her a hard no. I just said I needed to go home and talk it over with my parents. In reality, I had no intention of telling them. As their son, if I couldn't make their lives better, the least I could do was not burden them. I run a small business making custom electrical panels. I'm not rich, but I do okay. Before I even started dating Chloe, I'd taken out a mortgage on a 3-bedroom condo and had about 50 grand in savings. The first number was fine. I could handle the gift, the wedding reception, all of it, without asking my parents for a dime. But $40,000 would drain most of my reserves, maybe not even leaving enough for the wedding itself. Even if it did, we'd have to cut a lot of corners. But the fact that Chloe's family had just jacked up the price on a whim left a bad taste in my mouth. So, for a few days, I didn't contact her. She texted me every day, asking how the talk with my parents was going. I kept telling her I was still figuring out how to bring it up. When she asked to meet, I used the excuse that I was swamped with work. Then one evening, she showed up at my place. What's going on? She asked. I shrugged. $40,000 is a lot. Is there any room to negotiate? If you loved me, you wouldn't think it's a lot, she said. Do you not love me anymore? I looked at her and took a deep breath. If they're asking for that much, were they contributing? She was taken aback. Contributing? I don't know. Do they have to contribute something? Chloe quickly pulled out her phone and called her mom. A minute later, she was back. Don't worry about it. My mom said they'll follow local customs. They'll provide everything they're supposed to. They won't let their daughter be embarrassed. Before I could ask anything else, she added, I'm their daughter. They don't want me to be looked down on by your family after we're married. You could trust them on that, right? I sighed internally, gritted my teeth, and said fine. As soon as I agreed, she kissed me. Well, Thompson, I knew I picked the right man. Maybe it was her way of making it up to me, but she stayed the night, showering me with affection. With the gift settled, we set a date to get our marriage license next month. One night, I was dropping something off for a client, Mr. Miller, when I heard someone call my name. I recognized the voice of my soon-to-be brother-in-law, Cody. I turned around. He was with a young, shy-looking girl who wasn't his girlfriend. Cody shot me a series of frantic, meaningful looks before making the introduction. Hey, bro, this is my girlfriend, Leah. I smiled at Leah. Hi. She smiled back shyly. Hi, Will. I chuckled and said jokingly, we're not married yet. You can call me that after the wedding. Later, I found a moment to pull Cody aside. What's going on? Where's Ashley? Cody shrugged. We broke up a while ago. You didn't know? I frowned. Can you ever be serious? I'm being serious. I'm going to marry this one, he declared. I was stunned. You've been dating for what, a few days? And you're already talking marriage. Cody grinned. Bro, you think young people are like you and my sister? When you know, you know. You just get married. With that, he and Leah left. I watched them go, shaking my head. But I noticed that when Cody tried to put his arm around Leah, she subtly moved away, and he actually backed off. When I got home, I told Chloe what I'd seen. Oh, that's Leah, Chloe said. My parents and I have met her. She's a really nice girl from a good family. They're serious about getting married. Oh, By the way, Will, are you busy tonight? Can you come over? My parents want to talk to you about something. A chill went down my spine. I had a bad feeling. I asked her what it was about, but she insisted I come over to find out. I had no choice but to go. When I got there, I realized my premonition was right. Her mom had changed her mind again. She wanted to raise the gift to $70,000. I was floored. Was their daughter a stock that went up in value every day? Seeing my stunned silence, her mom rushed to reassure me. This is the last time, I promise. Chloe sat beside her, head down, not saying a word. I was about to lose it, but Chloe pulled me in her room. The second the door closed, I exploded. Are you kidding me? You can't do business like this. 20 grand becomes 40 grand, and I swallowed that. Now we've already agreed, and you're changing it to 70? I know it's wrong for us to change it again, Chloe said quickly, but think about it. It costs more than that to raise a daughter, right? I sat on the edge of the bed, lit a cigarette, and took a hard drag without saying anything. Chloe sat down next to me. If you still love me. I let out a cold laugh. With the way your family operates. I'm not sure I can afford to love you. You know what my family's financial situation is like, she pleaded. But Leah's family is well off. So my mom's thinking is, if Cody wants to marry Leah, he'll need at least $30,000 or $40,000 for her family, plus a down payment for a house. That's when I snapped. Oh, I see. So your family can't afford it. So you expect me to pay for it. Before Chloe could answer, her mom pushed the door open. Will, let me be honest with you. Cody really likes this Leah girl, and your uncle, and I think she's great. Most importantly, her family is also in the electrical panel business, and they're huge. If Cody marries Leah, they can help you out in the future. A few scraps from their table would be more than enough to feed you. I was so angry, I started to laugh. If that's the case, then why don't I just marry his girlfriend myself and cut out the middleman? My words stunned both Chloe and her mother into silence. For a long moment, they just stared at me, dumbfounded. I didn't say another word. I just turned, slammed the door, and left. After leaving their house, Chloe called, but I ignored it. It wasn't just that I didn't have the money. Even if I did, I wouldn't give in this time. And the fact that the money was for that punk Cody's wedding, there was no way I could stomach that. When I got home, I saw a text from Chloe. It was the same old routine. If I really loved her, I wouldn't have reacted that way. She said I had embarrassed her in front of her parents, that my words were classless, and that her mom was furious. She told me to call and apologize to her mother immediately. I read the message and laughed out loud. After everything they'd pulled, they thought they were the ones in the right. Maybe what I said was impulsive, but considering the circumstances, the fact that I didn't curse them out showed incredible restraint. When I didn't call or text back, Chloe didn't contact me for the next few days. I wasn't going to compromise on this. I had seen this family for what they were, greedy and insatiable. Even if I agreed this time, who knew when they'd raise the price again? A week later, I got to my workshop to find Cody waiting for me. As soon as he saw me, he stormed over. What did you do to my parents? They're furious. And you're just ghosting us? Get over there and apologize. I scoffed. I'm busy. His face darkened. Asshole, you think you're hot stuff, don't you? Do you even want to marry my sister anymore? As I unlocked the door to my shop, I said flatly, can't afford to. Cody's expression changed again. Will, you think I'm a pushover? You really think you can mess with the Davis family and get away with it? I turned to face him. I don't know about the Davis family, but I know I don't have the money to marry your sister. Cody grabbed the collar of my shirt. What? You're backing out now? So you just got to screw my sister for free. I instantly grabbed his wrist and twisted hard. Watch your mouth. That's your sister you're talking about. Show some respect. I'd been in the army, and handling a punk like Cody was child's play. He yelped in pain and started making a scene. He's hitting me. Help, he's hitting me. I let him go. If you want to get married, get a decent job first. Stop expecting your family to bail you out of everything. Cody rubbed his wrist, glaring at me. Who the hell do you think you are? You really think you're my brother-in-law already? I'm warning you, you better go to my house and apologize to my parents. If you do, I'll pretend this never happened. Otherwise, don't blame me for what comes next. I shot him a sharp look. He flinched and took a few steps back, but didn't leave, just stood there in front of my workshop. As I walked inside, he shouted after me. A guy like you can't even afford my sister. You think you have a shot with Leah? Go take a piss and look at your own reflection. I pulled out my phone, took a short video of his tantrum, and sent it to Chloe with a message. Tell your brother to stop embarrassing himself here. Her response came almost immediately, and she was furious. What about my brother? What right do you have to say that about him? I had been thinking about letting things cool down before try to have a real conversation with Chloe, but her message, completely ignoring the facts and jumping to her brother's defense, changed everything. I knew her family doted on Cody, but I never thought it went this deep. At that moment, I realized Chloe was one of them, the kind of woman who would sacrifice her own life for her family, especially her brother. Realizing this, I didn't even bother replying. I took out my phone and was about to call the police. That's when Cody finally turned and left, but not before throwing one last threat over his shoulder. "This isn't over, Thompson." I just smirked. I wasn't about to lose sleep over threats from my wannabe brother-in-law. For the next few days, Chloe and I had no contact. My parents asked once why they hadn't seen her in a while, and if we were fighting. I just told them we were both busy with work. But deep down, I knew my wedding to Chloe was probably off. There was no way I was going to pay that $70,000, and I doubted her family would back down. So it would just fizzle out. Another week passed, and then a message from Chloe popped up. "What's your deal? Are we still getting married or not?" I stared at the message for a long time before replying. "I can't afford the gift." Her reply was quick. "My mom explained everything to you that day. Leah's family is very well off. As long as she marries Cody, they won't let you down. They could throw a couple of contracts your way that would be worth way more than $70,000. When you look at it that way, does it still seem like too much?" Reading that, I knew her mom had her mind made up. There was no room for discussion. I replied with 2 letters. LOL. She immediately sent a voice message. "What's LOL supposed to mean?" I typed back, "It means the same thing I said the other day. If this is the plan, I'd rather just marry Leah myself and cut Cody out of it." Her reply came in a flood of angry texts. "Well, Thompson, you are a son of a bitch. You're a bastard." I didn't read the rest. I just closed the message, done listening. A few days later, a client, Mr. Miller, called and said he wanted to introduce me to a new business opportunity. He invited me to lunch to discuss it. I'd known Rob Miller for years. He owned the electrical panel factory where I'd started as an apprentice. Later, my parents gave me some capital to open my own small workshop. Rob had always respected my work ethic and wanted me to come work for him, but I always declined. I felt I was still young enough that I should try to make it on my own. But he was good to me, often passing along smaller jobs that weren't worth his time. I'd take the contracts under his company's name and give him a cut. It was a mutually beneficial arrangement. At the restaurant, Rob was joking with me again. "So, Will, when are you finally going to give up and come work for me?" I smiled. "Mr. Miller, I'm small time. I can't hang with the big dogs. Let me play in my own sandbox for a while longer." He laughed. "Well, the day you get tired of hustling, there's always a place for you at my factory." "Sound good," I said with a grin. "Just don't get tired of me by then." Just as we were talking, a female voice called out from nearby, "Dad." I glanced over and froze. The woman walking toward us was Cody's girlfriend, Leah. Then it hit me. Chloe's mom had said Leah's family was also in the electrical panel business and that they were huge. The world was small. Leah saw me and stopped in her tracks, just as surprised. "You?" Rob frowned, looking between us. "You two know each other?" I kept my mouth shut. I had no idea if Leah had told her father about Cody. But Leah quickly shook her head. "No, You look familiar. I must have mistaken you for someone else." I nodded along, smiling. I was thinking the same thing about Miss Miller. Rob looked at us suspiciously, but didn't press it. He asked Leah what she was doing there. She said she was having lunch with a friend and saw his car outside. So she came to say hi. A thought crossed my mind. Was her friend Cody? Rob introduced us properly. Leah and I exchanged polite greetings, each lost in our own thoughts. After chatting with her dad for a few minutes, she left. Once she was gone, Rob shook his head. "That girl, she's definitely dating someone. Been acting so secretive lately. She's seeing someone in you. Her own father. Don't know about it?" I asked. Rob sighed. "She's a great kid, but she's quiet. Keeps everything bottled up, never tells me or her mom anything. I saw some kid drop her off at home the other day. Don't know if it's a..." I smiled. "She's not a little girl anymore. It's normal for her to be dating. You can't stop that." "I know," he sighed. "I only have one daughter. I'm just afraid she'll meet the wrong kind of guy. If it were someone like you, Will, I'd be completely at ease." I laughed nervously. "I'm not at her league." "What league?" Rob said. "Honestly, Will, I've always liked you. But it's a shame. I hear you're about to get married, right?" Hearing that, a thought sparked in my mind, but I didn't say anything. Rob, being the perceptive man he was, saw right through me. "What's wrong?" "Fight with the fiancée." I gave a slight shrug. "We hit a snag on something." "It's nothing." I quickly changed the subject, asking about the details of the new contract. Rob assured me it was a solid deal with a good profit margin and texted me the panel specifications. After lunch, I went back to my workshop to start preparing for the new job, calling my guys to give them a heads up. After getting everything in order, I left the shop to check on the finishing touches of a previous project. By the time I was done, it was already late evening. After a shower, I lay in bed, my mind racing. I thought about the past 2 years with Chloe, and then about her family's attitude now. Just then, my phone buzzed with a new friend request. I accepted it without thinking. A message immediately came through. It's Leah Miller. Sorry to bother you so late. My heart skipped a beat. Why was Leah adding me? I typed back, no problem. I'm still up. What can I do for you? Thanks for today, she replied. For what? I asked confused. My dad doesn't know about Cody and me yet, and I'm not ready for him to know. Thanks for not saying anything. Oh, that? I replied. Don't worry about it. By the way, her message continued. Cody told me you and his sister are having some problems. Here we go again, I thought. That Cody really couldn't keep his mouth shut. Did he tell her about my sarcastic remark too? I decided to keep it simple. It's a small thing. Nothing major. From the way Cody talked, it didn't sound small, she wrote. He said his parents are really angry. I think. You and his sister have been together for so long, and we're about to get married. It's probably better to clear things up. I stared at her message, unsure how to respond. She clearly didn't know the whole story, and I didn't feel like explaining it all to her. Got it. Thanks was all I could muster. She sent back a smiley face emoji, and I didn't reply. The new contract from Rob was a big one, and for the next few days I was completely swamped, running a constant triangle between my workshop, the job site, and Rob's factory, my phone glued to my ear. Then, one day, I got a text from Chloe. Why did you add Leah Miller as a friend? What are you trying to pull? I was completely baffled. Before I could even reply, one of my workers called me over. Then came the barrage of calls from Chloe. I knew it was about the text. It didn't matter that I wasn't the one who initiated the friend request. Even if I had, it was none of her business who I was friends with. Chloe's calls kept coming, one after another, until I was so annoyed I finally answered. The moment I did, she yelled, Well, Thompson, have you no shame? I scoffed. Who I add as a friend has nothing to do with you. How does it have nothing to do with me? She shot back. Leah is my future sister-in-law. Are you trying to steal my brother's girlfriend? I was done with this conversation. Are you finished? I don't have time for this nonsense. You think I want to be calling you? She retorted. My patience snapped. Then don't. Block me for all I care. Fine will, she screamed. You said it. Blocked is blocked. I hung up before she could finish. Staring at my phone, it took me a moment to process what had just happened. I couldn't believe Chloe had become this person. We'd been set up by a mutual friend, and I was drawn to her because she was beautiful and seemed to have a good personality. Throughout our relationship, she had been perfectly normal. How could she turn into a completely different person the moment her brother was involved? Thank God we hadn't gotten a license yet. If I discovered this side of her after we were married, it would have been too late. When I finished up at the job site, I headed back to my workshop, only to find Cody waiting for me. The second I got out of my car, he swung at me. You son of a bitch, trying to move in on my girl. I wasn't about to take his crap. I caught his arm, twisted it, and he was immediately neutralized. I shoved him away, my voice sharp with anger. Get the hell away from me. Get your facts straight before you come looking for a fight. Cody didn't care. Even knowing he was no match for me, he charged again. I pulled out my phone and started recording. Keep it up, and I'm sending this to Leah. That stopped him cold. He pointed a trembling finger at me. You're a real piece of work, Will. I ignored him, went into my workshop, and got back to business. Nothing was more important than making a living. Even if I didn't marry Chloe, I'd need money to marry anyone else. That evening, my mom called. Well, what'd you do to Chloe? She's here at our house, crying her eyes out. A headache instantly bloomed behind my eyes. She'd gone to my parents' house. What did she tell you? I asked. Just get over here and we'll talk, my mom said. Her eyes are all swollen from crying. Without another word, I got in my car and drove to my parents' place. I could hear my mom consoling Chloe before I even opened the door, saying things like, Don't worry, when Will gets here, I'll give him a piece of my mind. I walked in to see Chloe sobbing on the living room couch with my mom patting her back. My dad was at the dining table, smoking, and just nodded his chin at me when I entered. The moment Chloe saw me, she started crying even harder. My mom quickly pushed me towards her. Will's here now. You two need to talk this out properly. You're about to get married. But I didn't go over. I grabbed a stool and sat down by the TV. What did you tell my parents? I asked Chloe directly. My mom interjected. Whatever it is, you two can work it out. You're about to be married. Don't become a neighborhood gossip right before the wedding. I had originally planned not to tell my parents the whole story. My mom had a good impression of Chloe, and even if we didn't get married, I was going to say it was due to personality differences. But now that Chloe had taken the drama to my parents' doorstep, twisting the story to make me look like the bad guy, all bets were off. We're not getting married, I stated flatly. My mom's face fell. Chloe's eyes welled up with fresh tears. Will is just emotional, my mom said, trying to soothe Chloe. He's just saying things he doesn't mean. Don't take it to heart. I looked straight at Chloe. Why are you here? Did you tell my parents the real reason we're not getting married? I told them everything. Chloe said defiantly. Her words caught me off guard. Chloe told us, my mom said, it's about the $70,000 for the gift, isn't it? If you can't afford it, we'll sell everything we have to come up with it. I stared at my mom in disbelief. Mom, that's $70,000, not $70. Chloe explained it all to us, my mom continued. She said we can think of it as a loan. After her brother gets married, they'll pay you back slowly. And what she said makes sense. Her future in-laws are in the same business. If they help you out, you could earn much more. She's thinking about your future together. I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. Dad, Mom, first of all, her brother's marriage is far from a done deal. And even if it were, that's a separate issue. Our marriage is our business. Her brother's marriage is his business. Lumping his expenses into my gift to her family is a recipe for disaster. That's a debt that will never be settled. My dad remained silent, continuing to smoke. My mom hesitated, looking between my dad and me, then turned to Chloe. Chloe, maybe you two should talk this over again. Fine, Chloe declared. I'll write you an IOU. Is that good enough? My mom's eyes lit up. She looked at me, clearly swayed. But I was resolute. Impossible. First, I don't have that kind of money, and I never intended to make my parents go into debt for my wedding, let alone for your brother. And another thing, has your family even asked if Leah's parents have agreed to this marriage? You're already trying to raise money for it. Chloe glared at me. Cody said he and Leah are doing great. If something goes wrong, it'll be because you're trying to sabotage it. That was the last straw. I flew into a rage, grabbed Chloe by the arm, and pushed her out the front door. To be honest, I'd had some lingering doubts about breaking up. But now my mind was crystal clear. We were done. This wedding was never going to happen. How dare she accuse me of sabotage? It was completely irrational. Chloe started banging on the door. My mom moved to open it, but I stopped her. My dad finally stubbed out his cigarette. Will's right. That's a debt that will never be clear. But this is their business. Let them solve it themselves. If Will agrees, I'll go borrow the money, sell the house, whatever it takes. I won't say another word. With that, my dad went to his room. My mom looked at me, then at the door, and with a frustrated stomp, followed him. Hearing Chloe's persistent knocking, I yelled through the door, Chloe, if you don't stop, I'm calling the police. Come out here. Let's get this straightened out, she yelled back. I figured she had a point. I couldn't let her disturb my parents all night. So I went outside and pulled her downstairs. Once we were away from the building, I said, we're done. It's over. She sneered. You think you could just break up with me? I've been with you for 2 years. We were about to get our license. My parents have already told all our relatives. And now you want to break up? I looked at her coldly. Do you think this is what I wanted? Your family is the one who acted without integrity. Ow, she demanded. I already said we could treat it as a loan. What more do you want? I don't have money to lend you, I said. And if he wants to get married, he can earn the money himself. Or your parents can go borrow it. You're his sister, not his mother. Her face hardened. So you're absolutely not going to pay, are you? I shrugged. Forget 70,000. At this point, I wouldn't even give you 20. Fine, she snapped. Break up then. Don't think you're the only man in the world. Hearing that, I actually felt a wave of relief. I turned to leave. Wait, she said. What about compensation for the 2 years of my youth I wasted on you? I stopped and turned back, a humorless smile on my face. Your 2 years were your youth, but my 2 years weren't? Who's wasting whose time now? That's hilarious. Don't try that manipulative drama on me. I'm not buying it. Well, Thompson, are you even a man? She seethed. It's because I'm a man that I'm still standing here talking to you calmly. I said, my patience wearing thin. You bastard, she screamed. Aren't you afraid I'll make a huge scene? Humiliate your parents in front of everyone. I laughed. Go ahead. I'm afraid you won't make a big enough scene. It'll be great. Let all the neighbors hear how the Davis family pimps out their daughter to support their son. Let them hear how 20,000 became 40, and then 70. Go on, I'm not stopping you. Let's see who ends up being the bigger joke. My words left her speechless. She just stood there, stunned. I didn't waste another second on her. I got in my car, locked the doors, and called my mom. I told her clearly that Chloe and I were broken up, and there was no chance of reconciliation. I told them not to open the door for her again, and to call the police if her family caused any trouble. My mom sighed on the other end. Everything was going so well. You were about to get married. How did it come to this? I heard my dad in the background. Listen to your son. Stop getting involved. Go to sleep. After hanging up, I looked in the rearview mirror. Chloe was gone. I immediately blocked her number, her social media profiles, everything. Then I drove away. A chapter of my life finally, blessedly, closed. For a few days, there was nothing but peace. I thought it was all over. One day, I had to stop by Rob Miller's factory for some paperwork. As I was leaving, he asked if he could catch a ride with me into the city. I remembered I had 2 canisters of premium coffee beans at my workshop that a client had given me. I rarely drank coffee, so I figured I'd give them to Rob. Well, in that case, I won't be polite, he said with a grin. We drove to my workshop, but as we pulled up, I saw Cody and a few other young guys trying to smash on my roll-up security door. I immediately jumped out of the car and yelled, "What the hell are you doing?" Cody heard my voice and urged his friends on. "Keep going," he shouted at them, then at me, "You bastard. I'll teach you to mess with my sister. I'll teach you to sabotage my relationship." Rob, sitting in the car, looked confused. He had no idea what was happening, but he thought Cody looked vaguely familiar. He wisely pulled out his phone and started recording, thinking it could be used as evidence for the police later. I ran to the front of my shop and pulled the guys off the door. "You're forcing me to call the cops," I warned Cody. "Go ahead. I dare you," he sneered. His friends started shoving me, cursing. I kept my cool. "My sister and I broke up," I said to Cody, my voice low and steady. "And it was because of you, you useless bum. You want a wife, so you force your own sister to demand a sky-high gift from me. And you think that's right?" Cody's friends paused, looking at him with surprise. His face flushed red. He lunged at me. "What the hell are you talking about? Who demanded a gift?" I grabbed his arm and twisted it. "Your family knows exactly what I'm talking about." Pain shot through Cody's arm. He yelled at his friends. "What are you waiting for? Help me. Just gonna stand there and watch me get my ass kicked." My words had clearly made them hesitant and disdainful of Cody, but they were his friends. They reluctantly closed in around me. A few of them started throwing punches, but I wasn't scared. I fought back, using Cody as a human shield the entire time. I barely got hit, but Cody took a few kicks from his own buddies. Just then, Rob got out of the car, his phone still recording. "Hey, stop it. I'm filming this, and I'm calling the police." I used the distraction to shove Cody away, landing a solid kick on his backside. "Get lost." Knowing he was outmatched, Cody and his friends scrambled to run. As they passed Rob, Cody saw the phone pointed at them. He slapped it out of Rob's hand, sending it clattering to the pavement. Then he slapped Rob hard across the face. "Mind your own damn business, you old fossil. What are you filming?" The slap stunned Rob. He just stood there dazed. Seeing this, I charged at them. That was all it took for Cody and his crew to take off running. I rushed to Rob's side. "Are you okay?" Rob's head was swimming, and a red handprint was already forming on his cheek. I quickly picked up his phone and helped him back to the car. "I'm taking you to the hospital." On the way, Rob tried to act tough. That little punk. If I were 20 years younger. He trailed off, hit by a wave of dizziness and nausea. At the hospital, I got him checked in immediately. The doctor's diagnosis was vestibular balance disorder, vertigo. I asked if he needed to be admitted, but the doctor said no, just bed rest at home, and prescribed a bunch of medication. I drove Rob home. As we were getting out of the car, we saw Leah just about to leave the house. She saw me helping her dad and froze, then rushed over. "What happened?" Before I could say anything, Rob, still fuming, blurted out, "I got hit by some little punk." "It's my fault," I said quickly. "I shouldn't have insisted on taking you to get those coffee beans. You got dragged into my mess." "It has nothing to do with you," Rob insisted. "These young thugs nowadays have no respect." Leah helped me get her father inside. I handed her the bag of prescriptions and told her to get him some water. Rob sat on the sofa, rubbing his cheek, still furious. He remembered his phone, its screen now cracked. "That little bastard," he muttered. He opened the video he'd recorded and played it back. "I'll send this to you," he told me. "Use it as evidence if you call the police." Leah came back with the medicine and a glass of water, urging her dad to take it. As Rob set his phone down on the coffee table, Leah glanced at the screen. Her expression changed instantly. She opened her mouth to say something, then quickly closed it and looked at me. I gave her a slight shake of my head, signaling her to stay quiet for now. After Rob took his medicine and went to lie down, I left. Leah followed me out. "What happened?" I opened the video Rob had sent me and showed it to her. After watching it, she was trembling with rage. "What is wrong with Cody?" I opened the video Rob had sent me and showed it to her. After watching it, she was trembling with rage. "What is wrong with Cody?" "This is my fault," I said. "He was coming after me because I broke up with his sister. Your dad just happened to be in my car." Leah didn't say anything. She just pulled out her phone and called Cody. The second he answered, she asked, "Where are you? What's up? Miss me?" Cody's voice was smug. "Did you hit someone today?" Leah asked, her voice cold. There was a moment of silence on his end, then an explosion of anger. "Did that bastard will tell you something? I'm telling you, stay away from him. He broke up with my sister. He's not my brother-in-law anymore. You shouldn't have any contact with him." Leah cut him off. "Did you hit someone?" "I was defending my sister's honor. He started." "Do you know who you hit?" she pressed. "That asshole Will." "Oh, and some old geezer who was sticking his nose where it didn't belong. filming everything with his stupid phone. Leah took a deep breath. That was my father. Cody was floored. What? No way. That's impossible. Do I sound like I'm joking? She said. I didn't know, he stammered. Listen to me. It was Will. He did it on purpose. It had to be him. He deliberately brought your dad there. Leah hung up. Leah hung up. You went to Will's workshop to cause trouble, you assaulted someone, and you ended up hitting my father, and you're blaming someone else. Leah's voice was ice. Let me explain. Cody pleaded. Leah hung up. I had been standing there the whole time. I'm sorry, I said awkwardly. My problems have affected you. Leah just shrugged. This has nothing to do with you. I'm glad you see it that way, I said with a small smile. She looked at me intently. You're such good friends with my dad. You knew what kind of person Cody was. Why didn't you say anything to my dad? I was taken aback. I was already in a conflict with the Davis family. If I had said something bad about him then, wouldn't it have looked like I was just trying to stir up trouble? She scoffed. So you'd rather let your friend's daughter get involved with a bad person than risk looking bad? You just turn a blind eye. I fell silent. She was right. I had thought about warning Rob, but I was afraid Leah would think I had some ulterior motive, so I kept my mouth shut. And another thing, she continued, her eyes fixed on me. What did you mean by what you said to Chloe and her mom? I froze. I knew exactly what she was talking about, but I was shocked she knew. Cody let it slip one night when he was drunk, she explained. I managed an awkward laugh. I was just angry. I didn't mean it. Leah didn't say anything else. She just turned and went back inside, leaving me standing there, feeling a mix of regret and surprise. Over the next few weeks, I visited the Millers a few times to check on Rob, still feeling guilty that this had happened because of me. One time, I ran into Leah again, and we talked for a bit. She told me that she had actually broken up with Cody the day before he attacked her father. When I asked why, she explained that they had been set up by friends. She initially thought he was handsome, but it didn't take long for her to see his many flaws. Good for you, I thought. You figured it out before it was too late. But the main reason I broke up with him, Leah confessed, was that he tried to force himself on me when he was drunk. I was stunned into silence. She went on to explain that it was during that drunken incident that Cody had blurted out what I'd said to Chloe and her mother. I gave a bitter smile and tried to explain again. I was really just saying it out of anger. But then she told me that she later found out about how his family had tried to use my wedding to Chloe to extort an insane amount of money from me. Before I could say anything else, she clarified, we weren't even serious, and his family was already planning all that. And just so you know, I never mentioned anything about a gift or money to him. I nodded, stunned, wondering why she was explaining all this to me. Later, Chloe's parents called my parents and harassed them, saying some pretty nasty things. When I found out, I was ready to go over to their house, but my mom stopped me. My dad just grunted. I yelled right back at them over the phone. We didn't lose. I had to laugh at my dad's response. But it also felt like the whole ordeal with Chloe was finally, officially over. A weight had been lifted. A month later, I finished the big project. I grabbed the coffee beans I'd meant to give Rob and went to his factory to settle up. When Rob Miller saw me walk in with the coffee, he shook his head. You're not a very honest kid, are you? My heart sank. The coffee is for you. I promised it a while ago and just never got it to you, I said quickly. And about the contract you set me up with, don't worry. I'll treat you to dinner tonight, and your factory's cut will be paid in full, down to the last penny. Rob waved his hand dismissively. You think I care about a few bucks? I was confused. It's not about that. Then what did I do that wasn't honest? A slow grin spread across his face. Who was that little punk who hit me the other day? I froze, then managed an awkward confession. My former potential brother-in-law. Rob nodded slowly. And what was his relationship with my Leah? I felt another jolt. I just stood there, speechless. He chuckled. How long were you planning on keeping that from me? It's a long story. I finally managed. It's not that I didn't want to tell you. I ended up telling him everything I knew. As I talked, Rob calmly brewed a pot with the coffee beans I brought. When I finished, he took a sip and laughed. That Davis family, what a bunch of clowns, he said. First of all, there's no way I would ever let Leah marry into a family like that. But even if it got to that point, the gift would be between my family, and what does that have to do with your family? It's complete nonsense. I nodded with a wry smile. Tell me about it. Rob took another sip of coffee, his eyes twinkling as he looked at me. So, that thing you said to your ex-future mother-in-law, is that offer still on the table? I blinked. What? I think you had a point, he said with a smile. Instead of you paying that punk so he could marry Leah, it makes a lot more sense for you to just marry Leah yourself. I was just angry, I stammered. Don't take that seriously. Oh, but I'm taking it seriously, Rob said, his expression earnest. And I'm serious too. Before, you had a girlfriend and were getting married, so I kept my mouth shut. But now you're single, so I'm bringing it up again. Leah has a pretty good impression of you. I've always thought you'd make a fine son-in-law. How about it? Mr. Miller, please don't joke around, I said, my face burning. Before I left, he told me to seriously consider it. On the drive home, his words echoed in my head. To be honest, Leah was beautiful, had a great figure, and more importantly, a good head on her shoulders and solid values. But I'd never dared to think of her that way. The whole situation was just too tangled up with the Davis family. I had never intended for my sarcastic remark to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. After that, Rob kept inviting me over for dinner. I went a few times, but it was always when Leah was home. The atmosphere felt charged. It made me so uncomfortable that I eventually stopped going. Then one day, my mom told me our neighbor, Mrs. Gable, had set me up with someone and that I had to go. No excuses. I tried to refuse, but she was insistent, so I reluctantly agreed. I got to the coffee shop, and when my date arrived, I was stunned. It wasn't a stranger. It was Leah. She was just as surprised to see me, but she sat down anyway. "What's your connection to Mrs. Gable?" I asked, feeling incredibly awkward. "She's my aunt," Leah replied, looking just as uncomfortable. "Wow," I said with a nervous laugh. "What a coincidence." Leah looked at me for a long moment. "I don't think this is a coincidence." "It's not. Actually," she said, "even before I met Cody, my dad used to talk about you all the time to me and my mom." I was floored. He did. He wanted to set us up back then, but I never agreed. "Why not?" I asked, confused. "Because I had a girlfriend?" Leah shrugged. "You weren't dating anyone at that point. So, you just weren't interested in me." She nodded, completely unapologetic. "Yep, not interested." I felt a little stung and coughed awkwardly. "Hey, a little tact would be nice." A small smile played on her lips. "What's there to be tactful about? Back then you were just an apprentice at his factory, always covered in grease with messy hair. You look like a little old man. Who would be interested in that?" She had a point. When I was an apprentice, I did all the dirty work. I probably was a mess. "Are you and Chloe still in touch?" she asked. I shook my head. "Not for a long time." Then I asked, "What about you and Cody?" She shook her head too. "He tried to contact me a few times after that day, but I wouldn't see him. Then he started waiting for me on my way home from work. I called the police. My dad went down to the station to handle it. He warned Cody to stop dreaming. The second Cody saw my dad, he clammed up. I haven't seen him since." I nodded slowly. He assaulted his potential future father-in-law and still thought he had a chance? What a dreamer. Suddenly, we both fell silent. The awkwardness returned. "If you want to leave, you can go," I said, feeling like I was about to crawl out of my skin. She looked at me. "I think you're the one who can't wait to get out of here." I gave a weak smile. "My mom forced me to come." "Funny," she said, nodding. "My mom forced me to come to—" "Okay," I said. "So we'll just go home and tell them we weren't interested." Mission accomplished. Leah just looked at me. "Why does it have to be a mission to accomplish?" I stared at her. "I actually think," she said, her gaze steady, "we could give it a try." I was shocked. "What?" She frowned. "What do you mean, what? Are you not interested in me?" "No, of course not. That's not it," I said quickly. She nodded. "So you were interested?" I didn't answer, instead asking, "Don't you think this is a little weird?" "Weird," she scoffed. "What's weird about it? You and Chloe never got married. And I broke up with Cody even before he hit my dad. What do the Devises have to do with us anymore?" I shook my head. "Nothing." "Exactly," she said with a shrug. "Since they have nothing to do with us, why should I feel weird for people who mean nothing to me?" She had a point. This young woman was seeing things more clearly than I was. She kept looking at me, waiting. "So, want to give it a try?" A slow smile spread across my face. I nodded. "Yeah, let's give it a try."